Now, as people caught in the middle of the war zone try to escape, others from around the world are heading into the region to help them find safety. That includes Dean Stott, a former member of the British Special Forces, who's joining us live now from Jerusalem. Dean, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time.
Good morning.
First off, tell us when you arrived there and what prompted you right away to start heading towards Jerusalem.
Yeah, so I flew in Sunday evening, not long after the incident. I'd done this before on numerous occasions in Libya. Actually evacuated the Canadian embassy out of Libya in 2014, Afghanistan and Sudan. And so from those experiences, I know that you need to get into these countries quite quick because it can escalate quite quick as well. And there is potential of the airspace closing down. So we took the initiative and we literally booked the ticket straight away so we can get boots on ground and just do a ground appreciation and help those. But even when I was on the flight on the way in, I was already getting demands and requests from friends and family who have family here, because this was in the middle of the Sukkot, which is one of the biggest holidays on the Israeli calendar. I know just alone there was 10,000 families from New York here at the time. So a lot of requests, and obviously people are worried outside of the country.
And then once you get these requests, how do you put this in action? Do you have a team that you've traveled with on the ground in order to help facilitate some of those escapes and rescues?
So for this one, I normally would, but because of the time appreciation, it was me that came on the ground. My wife was coordinating the planning behind the scenes. And I have a good network anyway, so I was already connected to fixers, drivers, and local security teams on the ground as well. So I just utilized them. But because of our experience, what we'd done before, we were sort of helping them formulate the plan.
All right. And because of that experience, and again, the network that you have built, you've been able to reach out to the families and the people who need that rescuing. Can you tell us about some of the people that you have indeed helped find safety so far?
Yeah, this trip's been very much different from the others. Social media's played a key role on this one, whereas the previous we hadn't. We already knew who we were going in to rescue. So our phone and DMs go up each time. But as soon as I got in, there was a family from New York. Their daughter was here for a bar mitzvah, and so they were trapped here. We've had everything all the way up to a 77-year-old gentleman who's here on his own. So actually here in the country, depending where you are, some areas are quite safe, but obviously there's conscious relatives outside of here who are obviously concerned, and they're obviously wanting to get them out. Some people are quite happy to stay until their flight leaves. Others want to leave earlier. So we're just trying to manage various situations, and as the situations change on the ground as well, there are flights getting cancelled, but there are other flights opening. Then we have options as also to take them away via the land across the border, and there's also sea options. So we're looking at all the potential alternatives day by day as the situation changes.
And are you helping just foreigners who are visiting Israel, or are you helping Israelis as well who want to find safety?
Depends. I think we're helping everyone. If Israelis want to get out, they can get out. But I think if they are of a fighting age, there is a stop for certain individuals from the Israelis. But we're helping anyone from any faith or any background.
And what have you been seeing once you landed there and you were able to just be in and around the city? What have you been seeing? What's the mood been like as people, again, try to deal and cope with what happened on Saturday?
Obviously, there's an element of shock still. I'm in Jerusalem at the moment and just walking around. It's obviously a lot quieter than it normally is. But getting a ground appreciation, I think because of in respect to what's happened over the weekend, it's probably the safest it's ever been in Jerusalem, because it's heightened the security. But there is an element of shock, anger as well. But I just think, obviously what's happening now in the south with the bombardment is a reaction to the weekend, and I just hope that soon both parties can come to agreement and we can move on, hopefully.
And there are so many people who are looking for missing family members. We know that hostages have been taken as well. And I know you're not directly connected to that effort by the IDF to try to find and rescue those hostages safely. But just with your background in special ops, how difficult is it when there is a continued war going on? You are bombarding an area like the Gaza Strip with airstrikes, but at the same time, trying to navigate and make sure that you find those hostages, keep them safe, and potentially rescue them and bring them home.
Yeah, the biggest, obviously, we used to do hostage rescues when I was in the SBS, and one of the biggest things there is the planning. Firstly, identifying where they are, and that's the biggest issue you have here, because there are tunnel systems between Gaza Strip and Egypt as well, and I've no doubt they're probably down there. But you also, you need to have ground intelligence as well, and so I've got no doubt, without giving away too much, that the special forces are liaising with the intelligence teams on the ground. You have civilians in the area as well. So I think that the best outcome for this is negotiations between the two parties.
All right, Dean Stott joining us live from Jerusalem this morning. Thank you so much for taking the time once again, and thank you for what you're doing to help people get out of that war zone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.